Oh, this is a great, great story. It was 2 years ago in January. I was coming back from a trade show in Vegas, Affiliate Summit, and I was actually flying back, and it was my birthday. So I board the plane. I'm on Southwest, and I order a drink because it is my birthday after all, and I'm getting to go home. So the flight attendant asks me for my ID, and I'm kind of thinking, dude, I'm 42 years old, but okay, sure. So I give her my ID. She goes, oh, wow, happy birthday, Jennifer. I said, oh, thanks. So the drink was on her, and all was well. And I started working on my follow-up from the trade show. And all of a sudden, the pilot comes on, it's not the pilot, it's the guy in the front that's the other flight attendant. I didn't know at the time who it was, and they just asked everyone if they would please turn off all the lights, their lamps or their lights above their seats for just a minute. I was like, what in the world is going on? I was like, are we about to crash? What is this? So people are turning it off a little nervously, and then he proceeds to say, we would like to wish Jennifer a happy birthday. Can you please help us sing? And the entire plane sang happy birthday to me with just the lights on the aisleway on. And I guess I didn't realize when she saw my ID and my name, she actually took that to heart. And they brought me, on Southwest, they have these little drink stirrers. They have like a heart at the top of them. They had sat there and bound a bunch of them together, like with, I guess, straw wrappers or napkins, it was something, paper, and made me a crown and brought it to me. And the whole plane sang to me. And I'm just sitting there going, I can't believe that just happened. So that has definitely had to have been like my most perfect flight, I guess. I mean, I just was completely stunned. To be honest.
I mean, it's got to be truly unforgettable to that kind of experience. Absolutely. And no matter what people say about the Southwest, and I've had some bad experience, but I've also had some good experiences. You probably wouldn't see that at most other airlines.
When you travel for a vacation, you don't worry about a wrinkled shirt. But when you travel for business, being connected, being presentable, and not having dead batteries are true causes for concern. So get on board for some business travel hacks with your host, Brian Eisenberg.
My name is Jennifer Myers-Ward. I am the CEO of eBove and Beyond, and I travel so much for work, between conferences, visiting clients, that kind of stuff mainly.
And tell everybody a little bit about what you do for work so they can kind of get an understanding of what kind of clients you're looking at, and where do you travel from, and are there some particular cities that you travel to pretty often?
So I own it's an online marketing agency, and we focus on working with retailers on customer acquisition and retention. I'd say places I travel most frequently, whether it's for clients or conferences, tends to be New York, Chicago, Vegas, believe it or not. And I travel from Orlando, which is always a challenge in and of itself.
Orlando could be a very tough airport, no question, especially during the tourist season. It's kind of like almost as bad regularly as Austin is in South by Southwest. Orlando gets a lot of that from all your tourists.
Yes.
So what do you wish you knew when you first started traveling for business that you now know? So if you can kind of take us back to that first business trip you ever did, what's changed?
Okay, so that would have been probably going on 15 plus years ago. So a lot of the things that we have now were not available back then. But, this is one of the things that I still stand behind. And that is, so flying out of Orlando, Florida, especially in the summer, we get these crazy afternoon showers and thunderstorms and what have you. That once they see lightning, they take the entire ground crew away from suitcases. And if they're out there on the carts, they get left out there on the carts because they are to immediately go inside if lightning's in a certain area. So I had a situation early on where I had a cloth sort of, suitcase, as you did. And it got left out on the tarmac. And it turned out to be, we were delayed for quite a while with not only the lightning, but just, we call it in Florida sideways rain. And if you've ever been here when it rains, it's a really accurate statement. So my suitcase was out there, and it must have been one of the top ones. And so it gets loaded on. I get off going to a work conference, and my suitcase is completely saturated. I have clothes that have bled on other clothes. It's just a complete mess for me. So I would say for me, the biggest thing that I learned then and there is hardbound suitcases are the way to go. Never knowing what the weather is going to bring you. I just feel like everything's just a little bit more secure, definitely a little bit drier.
And you just got a new hardbound suitcase. I saw that you posted that on Facebook. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I did. I was super excited about it. I always have the hardbound, but I usually get really bright colors like yellow and stuff like that because no one tries to take your bag because it's blatantly not their bag. It's not black. But I was searching around online just for something a little different, and I found it's a hardbound suitcase. I found it on Luggage Pros. Just randomly looking around for something a little different to travel with, but that also sort of promoted my company. And so I have a medium-sized hardbound rolling suitcase, 4-wheel roller, that has my Above and Beyond logo on it. It's like safely under, it's hardbound all the way around. And they even sent it with like a personalized Above and Beyond logoed luggage tag and everything with it. So that was fun for me because I know, number one, no one's going to pick that up. But number two, it starts conversation around, the luggage carousel and people around you. Oh, what is that? Or, something like that. So I felt like, it's a good place to market yourself at an airport where other business people are traveling, but also make sure that no one takes your bag.
Now, do you travel with any special travel clothes or footwear? I know obviously you're very much into fitness, so that also obviously plays in what you're packing.
Yeah, I do. I always pack, shoes and workout clothes. As far as just traveling kind of stuff, other than obviously the things you need for a conference and again, events or dinners in the evening, I tend to pack and I travel in flip flops a lot of the time, and I always pack a foldable pair of kind of like, they're not ballet slippers proper, but those kind of shoes, just in case, because I've had a flip-flop blowout on me in the airport, and that's not fun. So I pack a little separate pair of shoes. But beyond that, it's kind of conference clothes. But yes, workout clothes is always sort of part of that.
Now, aren't flip-flops kind of like the boots of Canada? They're just the standard wear for Floridians?
They are. They really must be, because that's all I have tons of them. I have ones with little bling on them. I have colored ones. I have brown ones. I have lots of them. So, yeah, and they are comfortable because then you can be in the airplane and, your feet aren't all bound. And like when they start to swell a little, you can move them around. So, yeah, I like the flip-flops.
What is your favorite travel hack?
Well, we already talked about my hardbound suitcase because that's one of my big ones. I would say outside of the sort of the common water bottle, which I always have, empty water bottle in my bag so that I can fill up water on the other side and have water and stay hydrated and stuff like that. I'm known to pack dryer sheets in my suitcase. My husband's always like, "Why do you do this again?" Partially, it is to keep my clothes fresh in my suitcase. They're clean when they go in there, but they sit under the airplane and sometimes jet fuel, and you never know. And so I feel like it keeps my clothes feeling fresh. And this might be a woman hack, but maybe you've had this, Brian, but I've probably not. When I go to colder climates, women's hair gets static electricity in it. And if you rub a dryer sheet over your hair, it will get rid of the static electricity, so it's not sticking out all over the place. So it's kind of a dual purpose for me.
I have heard of that one before, I got to tell you. Okay. Yeah, so you're not alone. And I know plenty of people who carry them with them as well. And I have heard about it for the hair part too. So
okay.
Luckily, my hair is short now. I don't have to worry about it as much, but I can definitely feel it.
Yes.
So I imagine, since you're checking your bag, you probably have some kind of a carry-on as well. Is it a backpack? Is it a rollerboard carry-on? What do you usually take with you?
My carry-on is interesting. I've kind of struggled over the years with to your point, what that carry-on is and what am I going to need it for. So obviously my computer comes with me, as does your normal things like snacks and hand wipes and headsets and neck pillow and all that good stuff. So what I would do is I had like a nice like leather where you slide your computer in, just normal sort of, I call it like just a work bag. It looks very professional. And I would find that, especially when I went to conferences, I was getting a lot of things given to me that I needed to cram in there or throw in there, or I had something that I wanted to give to someone else. And the bag was really restrictive. And so just literally this year, I finally found what I really like. And it's a big, like a floppy canvas shoulder bag. I mean, it's something almost like you would expect to take to the beach with towels, and it has no form to it whatsoever. I mean, it's got a couple pockets on the inside and outside, but it's just a big, floppy, huge canvas bag. And then I had our local print shop put I go again with my logo, on it as well. That way, when I walk around trade shows, it shows the logo, but I can also, pick up things that I need, or, those necessary things that one must pick up for their kids so they look like a great parent when they come home from a trade show. So, I carry, it's like a big floppy canvas bag. I mean, my computer goes in it, but that way I feel I can fit a lot of stuff in there and not be bulging or uncomfortable to carry.
Do you have any favorite travel gadgets that you use when you're on the road? I mean, obviously, you mentioned your computer, but are there anything else that you take along with you?
Travel gadgets. So I do take my computer because, like we mentioned, I generally am traveling for work, so I'm preparing or doing follow up, plus my headsets. I did get this, like, because sometimes I like to sleep, especially when I'm coming back from like the West Coast. I mentioned Vegas. There's this neck pillow. I don't know if this is a gadget so much, but it is kind of crazy looking. That's called Turtle. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's TRTL. So not like turtle like you would expect, but, and it kind of has just like this felt thing that goes around it, but it has like this neck support. So it folds up much flatter than like whatever you call those, like C-shaped neck pillows. And it's not inflatable, but it's super comfortable. So, I mean, that's if I need some sleep, that's kind of one of my, I guess you'd say, travel gadget, for lack of a better word for it. But I like it.
No, I would absolutely call that a travel gadget. And, you think about it, the gadgets are meant to help us get the experience to be better. Because, at the end of the day, travel is hard on us, and
yes.
It's not always the easiest thing. And so anything we can find to kind of make that experience better for ourselves, because it's not like the airlines are doing a lot to improve the experience for the average traveler.
Sure.
So, definitely anything like that. I have an inflatable one I've had for years. I just, again, I wouldn't want the big bulk of the big C ones, but I'll definitely look at this turtle one, because I just know it's like I go to the chiropractor regularly. It's like my neck suffers when I'm, if I don't have one and I'm
yes.
on a plane, and it's because of the pitch of the seat. It's a bunch of reasons for it. So
no, you're totally right. And I always like the aisle, so there's no laying on the side of the plane for me. It's just like your head's wobbling out there by itself. So definitely the neck rest. And then I have like noise canceling earphones, because if I really do want to sleep or don't want to have to hear the kids screaming behind me or the lady trying to talk to me or whatever.
Do you have a favorite pair? Which ones do you use?
I have a Sony pair right now. It's just one that I picked up actually at the airport, and I've just sort of never put a whole lot of emphasis on it, or I mean, they do what I need them to do at the end of the day. And so it's one of those things that, I may think of it when I'm on the plane. I'm like, I wonder if I should look at some new ones. But then when I get off, I'm back in at home mode and I don't think about it again. So they're not anything I'm married to, but they do the job.
Thank you for listening to Business Travel Hacks with your host, Brian Eisenberg. Catch us on the web at businesstravelhacks.com or at Business Travel Hacks on Facebook and Instagram.
What's the best lesson you've learned over all the years of business travel?
Be prepared. And that could be anything from, taking a picture of your driver's license, your ID, in case, God forbid you get robbed, getting on a plane the next day. Taking a picture of your boarding pass in case you lose Wi-Fi, to being prepared with what we talked about earlier in terms of snacks in case you get stuck on the runway while your luggage is not getting wet outside because you have a hardbound suitcase, but sitting there and then you're suddenly starving and you've got nothing and they're not really handing out anything. And so I just would say be prepared. That's kind of my biggest lesson learned in several different ways. So I try to have all my bases covered.